is a two-diamond butt whooping? I wonder what exactly a two-diamond butt whooping really is.
You know, I don't know, but I also appreciate
Sounds
it
painful.
because, like, everybody's got kind of their own jargon that they use, and the other person really knows it. And I think that connection that Lil Yachty and Trick Williams has kind of feeds into that. So, like, he said it, and I was just like, okay, sounds cool, let's do that.
Yeah,
so
sounds
that's
painful.
just where our names are Matt Jackson and Sean Green. We were just veterans BSing in parking lots about wrestling and their storylines until last year when... Dude, why are we just talking about this? We should record it and start a podcast. When you start a podcast, you have no clue what you're doing. You fumble through all the technology.
Yep, you're back up, but you froze for about a minute. Oh, you're gone.
You rely on Google searches and reviews to piece it all together. You rely on your co-host for insightful content.
Surprise, surprise. Dude, you got an iron bladder. Just I have to go again.
You make some friends along the way.
The big man himself, El Jefe himself, Mikey.
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, shall we?
Hi, Nick. Long time no see.
This is going to be a match real soon.
You eventually reach 100 subscribers. Reese hit our 100 subscribers, so perfect timing for Reese. Bottom line is, as you continue to push out content, you'll always have a podcast. With all that said, welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. Here are your hosts, Sean Green and Matt Jackson. Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast, the multi-day late edition. I'm your host, as always, out here in California, melting his butt off, Sean Green. And with me, as always, my tag team partner, who is not melting himself away because he's acclimated to the Florida weather, Matt Jackson. Matt, how the hell are you?
I'm good, man. You gave me like an 80s flashback looking at you with the back screen behind you, and you're not at 4K, and you're a little misshapen. You got like this max headroom thing going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The young people are like, who the hell is max headroom? Go on YouTube. Plenty of Max stuff. But no, man, I'm doing good. It's hot here too, but we're in the middle of the day, which is kind of a nice change. I kind of like it. And
yeah, I kind of
got this podcast to do with you, and then I'm actually going to have the opportunity to go on Nick's podcast and talk to Jake Hager, aka Jack Swagger.
Yeah, no, that's a cool opportunity for you. Yeah, like, so you folks at home are probably wondering, like, dude, it's Friday. Why are they dropping their content on a Friday? Well, Sean screwed everything up. He's been busy with work and working late, and I'm in California time, so yeah, nothing played nice. So unfortunately, it's a Friday edition, but we love y'all and we want to give you guys content, so here we are. Yeah, as Matt pointed out, I'm not in 4K today because I'm a schleb, and I left my stupid camera at home, so I'm refined down to the MacBook camera, and then on top of that, it's like hotel internet, and then on top of that, it's just crazy. So, Matt,
it's like
I don't want to belittle it.
WWE,
I know
old school episodes that they used to do back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I'm going throwback, No,
Throwback,
so
yeah.
Let's get into it.
So 6 months ago, Sean. So 6 months ago.
Yes, I know. I suck. Sue me.
No,
I still got
good,
AirPods in, though. So, I look cooler now because now it looks like I don't have anything in. But, yeah, so we're going to go over SmackDown. We're going to go over Raw. And then we're going to talk about Saturday night's main event, which is tomorrow. So we'll have some fun with that. So SmackDown kicked off. It was, CM Punk basically going found my way to SmackDown. We talked about it on the previous podcast, how, and again, I can't take credit for it. Some people online were talking about it, but Punk referring to always being ready. Opportunity might fall out of the air. An opportunity did. Obviously we had boo-boo face Sammy floating around. Gunther's throwing temper tantrums too. So long story short, Punk comes out. and eventually this just sets up, speaking of Saturday night's main event, it sets up, the tag team match of Punk and Cody versus Gunther and Sami. So these are your 4 players, and I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either. I also think it was great Cody also used Punk's line about opportunities falling from the sky, and Cody talked about saying when, and Punk just jumped right in his face and said when, so I thought it was well done. So I like it.
It was well done.
It was well done. And then we're going to see later that the whole Gunther-Nick Aldis thing is going into hyperdrive, so a lot of fun stuff coming up. But yeah, the Cody Punk at SummerSlam, that's a huge match. This is going to be, I think, a really solidly built card. There's some big matches in here. So this is how I look at SummerSlam real quick, Sean. SummerSlam's like the all-star game, like baseball or football, other sports. It just seems to have an all-star feel, and then like WrestleMania is your Super Bowl. So it definitely does have like that all-star feel here for SummerSlam, like best against the best. And I'm sure we might get some repeat offenders at WrestleMania, depending on storylines. But really, SummerSlam's looking to be a really good card. And for everybody complaining about the tickets not selling, I'm telling you, the last week or so, they're going to sell like crazy, because you've seen that in other entertainment industries, concerts. People are waiting until the last day or very close to that, and they're taking a chance. It's, like playing the lottery, hoping those tickets come down. I'm just hearing a lot of negativity about lack of ticket sales. I just think the consumer's wising up to the process, and they're just in a position where it's advantageous to wait, and you save a few bucks.
No, for sure. And then on top of that, so you mentioned the card for SummerSlam. The rumor on the street is they're going very big. They want this to be WrestleMania-esque for the card, which is cool.
Well, yeah, you're not getting WrestleMania in the States next year, so it makes it's smart. Make it a big American show.
Yeah, I do have concerns. I have concerns about, anytime you put Roman and Seth together, it needs to be special, right? And we've talked about it numerous times that Seth is Roman's kryptonite, and I really still stand by that statement that, Seth needs to, Seth should go over unless it's a retirement match. It needs, first off, I just don't think it's big enough to have Roman go over Seth at SummerSlam. That's the pinnacle of pinnacles, right? And then if you pull that trigger now,
his retirement match. If he goes through this whole losing everything, and him beating Seth is part of him getting everything back the right way, then that's cool too. It doesn't have to be Roman's retirement, but it has to be part of his redemption arc or whatever arc they may or may not do with Roman. But yeah, definitely Seth needs to go over.
I'm still holding out hope. I'm still holding out hope, but I do think Seth needs to go over, and I think that if you put Roman over now without any redemption angle or any other different angle, you just squashed another person on the roster. So we'll talk about that more, because obviously they had a face-to-face on Raw. So after that, we get Finn Balor and Tama Tonga. I don't know, man.
Welcome back,
this
Finn.
Tama Tonga, yeah. It was just kind of, I don't understand their whole role in all this tribal bullshit. So it's a little weird to me. It's kind of hard to follow. So,
especially with Finn going over that clean, that quick. Yeah, I think they're trying to put Finn in that world title picture as well. I don't think they're going to throw him in U.S. title. He's going to be in that mix for the world title.
I would not complain if Finn finally got a small title run. Take what you did with, maybe a little longer, but take what you did with Sami and kind of give that to Finn. And honest, but again, it is what it is. So we get a little R-Truth in the backstage having to freaking pay off some loss for U.S. soccer stuff, after all that drama. But, he's paying off folks. And then, War Raiders, Jimmy, Jacob, whatever, dude. Some of this stuff is stretching out. And this Bloodline story, rehash, rewind, remix, whatever the hell you're calling it, it's kind of frustrating because, it feels like it is Solo story to a limited extent, and there's slightly different players, right? Like there's Royce Keys, there's Solo Sikoa, LA Knight's got a piece in this too, but like the OG bloodline just kind of exists. Like this is like the next echelon. So it's like Jacob is a key player, and then Solo's a key player. So it's kind of a weird dynamic, but like
Priest will be, but Priest is going to be down the line. They're going to slow roll Priest. Probably you'll see him before they, because you know where Survivor Series is probably going to go. It's going to go Bloodline against Anti-Bloodline and War Games. So at some point, Priest will join up, but he'll be one of the last ones to finally, because Priest is smart. He's not just going to forgive and forget.
I mean, for War Games, I guess, but. My God, like if we're gonna drag this out, whatever, dude. Like
they're gonna drag it
right.
out. This has a feeling of very draggy.
Your boy, Mr. Boo Boo Face himself, Gunther, having temper tantrums with Aldis. You know, so fix this. Fix what? You lost,
not for nothing, but I saw on social media today from a couple of sources that storyline based. Aldis is out as SmackDown GM, and they're supposed to make an announcement.
Aldis is out as GM?
Yeah, and Pierce is taking over both. I think they're pulling Aldis out because he and Gunther are going to fight at SummerSlam. That's probably... They're going to pull him out so he can train up for SummerSlam and storyline, take him off air, because how could he be a GM if he's going to fight one of his subordinates? So...
Yeah. Then we get a lot more
we'll see
of this.
Tonight on SmackDown. Something, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, baggage man shit going on. Royce Keys is obviously involved. Like I said, folks, we're just going to kind of, you know, this ends up setting up Royce Keys and Jimmy Uso, which was an okay match. It was a good showcase for Royce, right? Like, even though everything went sideways towards the end, you know, but I think the bloodline stuff that happens and Raw, I actually found more intriguing than what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
So
agreed. But yeah, Jimmy
Catatonic Johnny Gargano. Catatonic Johnny Gargano hanging out with the last good guy like Sami Zayn. Yeah. That was the thing too. Like that happened. You know, they replayed the video of Sammy's
And Candice blames Punk. Yeah, it's Punk's fault that Gargano has lost any healing momentum he may have had to come out of this. It's all Punk's fault. I thought that was kind of funny, and Punk kind of just told Candice to get over it.
The only problem I had with Punk in all of this was it was Chicago, right? Like, to me, it was so easy to predict. It was just kind of like, all right, whatever, dude. But, you know,
if you're in
he
Chicago
has UFC ties, and I do think that he gets a little...
He gets some preference. You don't want people rioting in Chicago if they don't get what they want.
That's true. That's true.
Sorry, he's on the hotel
Matt's
internet,
got a
so
note here.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit from time to time, so...
Do I got to go to the... Over.
Yeah. Roger. Where the hell is Roger? So you going to talk about this note I put?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about your note, man. Like, so the commercials. This is a bad week for commercials, man. And the only redeeming factor for commercials right now is that there's timers on the streaming apps that tell me when the commercials are going to be over. Other than that, they're just horrible.
I got 3 minutes. I could do this and this. And Raw was just as bad, bro. That Gauntlet match, segment, commercial, good Lord. But anyway.
It did detract from it, and speaking of things that detract from things, I'm kind of sick of Jade Cargill and this Alexa Charlotte nonsense. I'll be happy when that's over too. I'm not even going to get into it. Yeah,
me neither.
Bliss with her double jointed ass showing the injury though. That was a nice touch.
I will say, the attack after was way better than anything that happened in the match. She's done that before, so it's a good thing to call back to every now and again.
Yep. And then Trick Williams comes up and he gets the fuzzy belt after thinking he lost his shit. So that was
playing the Ricky Saints.
It's a belt. It is a custom belt. Probably not as iconic as the spinner, but okay.
I hated the spinner though. Get with the fuzzy belt, but
the spinner has its moments and its place. it's iconic. I don't know, Q-tips? Nah, the spinner was iconic though, and it was cool. And like when you had other people take the spinner, i.e. Edge, and make it his own, it was kind of cool.
I'll give you that. It just made the title look like a toy more than a prestigious thing, but it's all well and good. Because the heels had fun with it.
Sells.
Cena had fun.
It sells.
They sold a buttload of those things.
Okay,
oh, man.
So we had.
By the way, what is a 2-diamond butt whooping? I wonder what exactly a 2-diamond butt whooping really is.
You know, I don't know, but I also appreciate it because when people are friends, they have inside lingo, right? Like everybody's got kind of their own jargon that they use, and the other person really knows it. And I think that connection that Lil Yachty and Trick Williams has kind of feeds into that. So, like, he said it, and I was just like, okay, sounds cool. Let's do that.
Yeah,
so that's
painful.
just where I went with that. Yeah, so much better. You know, but the match up until then was really good. Mello was showing out. And then we get a return. Not the return that you have been promising me that I'm still waiting on. But we did get a return.
The fact that KO's got to come back at some point. Okay, I got it in this week.
Yeah. But no, we get Baron Corbin. You know, he's back. And I'll touch on that a little bit more later because somebody's doing something right now that reminds me a lot of Baron Corbin. So, but no, Baron Corbin's back. He dropped a couple end of days and kind of put himself right in that U.S. title picture, which I think is cool. And I think for the young guys, he's like one of those solid vets, man. Like those guys that are just around. You know, Dolph Ziggler was kind of that guy. You know, Matt Cardona is right now. Like those salty little old vets that are going to kind of help the youngins get over to the next hump.
Especially a guy like Corbin, which when he came in as the Lone Wolf, I liked it. And I noticed his T-shirt said Nomad, so I think he's kind of going on a similar thing with the Lone Wolf. He's
I think they trademarked that, to be honest with you.
Kind of cool. At least it's. I mean, bum-ass Corbin or broke-ass Corbin was funny, and you know all the other stuff. But I want to see him go back to being the dark, serious guy because he's got a ton of talent, and I really liked. I also liked how we didn't get everything from Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. We got a good match, but they didn't give us everything. Save that for a big show.
No, they're not going to. That's a PLE stuff.
Yes. But yeah, I was happy to see Baron Corbin back. I thought that was a good way to bring him back. Some people thought he was under the sheet in Danhausen's lab. Well, we proved that's not the case. It'd be funny if it was Zilla.
Danhausen gets injected into the Bloodline story. How great would that be?
Oh my gosh. Well, he's got to get over the Judgment Day first. But
it's true.
No, I like the Baron Corbin. I thought it was really good. I liked it. It was very creative. Nicely done.
Yeah. So the final segment here, a lot of the Nick Aldis setup, right, for him and Gunther, just all right, you know. But see, one of our TikTok followers stated that there's a lack of pure heels in the WWE. It's true. There's a lot of tweener shit going on right now, but like we talked about this with Jey Uso, right? And it kind of applies to Jimmy as well. Like, you know, I always say when the dial swings this way and that way so egregiously that there's, you know, that's not a tweener, right? Like you got to kind of hover around it's like a meter right on the line. That's how you pull off a tweener. So there's tons of tweeners right now to different extents, but no, nobody's just pure evil right now.
No, like Gunther was, and he's not anymore. Like Gunther does not command fear like he used to. When he was just tearing through the roster and destroying people, like he was a scary heel. Now he's entitled and angry and bitter, and it's like, if I want that, I can go watch a Bret Hart podcast. You know, if I want to see angry and bitter. Like, man.
No, you're right.
Hopefully after this whole thing, he's not, I don't want to sound weird, but like, there's a awe of Gunther back in the day when he was just in there, wiping his boots on the mat, then beating the crap out of his opponent and leaving, and none of this whining and complaining. And now he's like, it's taking the edge off him. Like, he doesn't scare, intimidate anybody.
I told you a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Gunther has a problem, and it's his character. And you twisted yourself into a pretzel, like, oh, it's a European thing, blah, blah, blah. Nah, his character sucks. And whatever this current version of him also sucks. Like, if we're being real.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not enamored with it myself, so.
Yeah, well, the problem is that, like, I don't think he's done it. He never established himself well enough to be the established heel where he could be like, you're screwing me, the whole lawyer thing and this and that and the other. And, like, he never got himself to a pinnacle where that's understandable. Like, are you good? Yes. Are you great? Don't know. And that's the problem. Like, he never went like insanely heinous over the top. So it kind of limits what he is, right? Like, it's, oh boy, So he's got character issues still, like, big time.
Yeah, and the problem was he wasn't pulling any of this shtick on Raw, and he immediately shows up on SmackDown. It's like, oh, we're supposed to immediately forget about this, what he did on Raw, and now, like, we're just gonna accept this new, like,
there was no transition, there was no ramp up. Right. It was just like,
there was no catalyst. He showed up there entitled, like, there was nothing. Like, he should have remained the same, and then, like, these things happen, and then maybe you can start to see the bitter entitled. They just went, like, instead of, like, learning how to swim in the shallow end, they just jumped in the deep end with a weighted vest on. And, like, yeah, you're just going to be angry and bitter and sink or swim, pal. They could have wrote it so much better. You could have got to this point and have it work.
Maybe.
But I have to say,
like
I love the beatdown of him and Aldous, though, at the end. That was well done.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem Gunther has is his character foundation has never really been established very well. So, like, some of the stuff is feasible, other stuff just feels tacked on for him.
Yeah.
But enough about that. We got more important business to talk about. So, Raw kicks off. Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, and 5 cops. 5 lonely, pathetic. Yeah, they were not exactly Dallas's finest. We'll just say that.
No, they should be arrested for impersonating a cop and doing a horrible job at it.
This segment had me torn because Brock Lesnar is a badass. Obafemi is a bad, and Paul Heyman touches on it, so it's like, okay, I kind of get what you're saying here, but, like, yeah, so if he's such a badass, why does he need 5 cops, right? And then Heyman kind of put a little slant on it that, like, there's a restraining order on both of them, so they can't touch, and it's like, okay. You do you, boo.
Yeah. I usually love anything Heyman does. The cop thing and the restraining order. Well, I mean, we learned later on it was all a ruse and nothing, just idle threats, but that just didn't work for me. Like, Oba's promo was good, but it just felt, man, they went back into, like, they must have found one of Vince McMahon's old, like, notebooks in a drawer somewhere in Stamford when they moved to the new headquarters and said, oh, let's throw this in. We'll get the 5 fake cops. It worked all the time when we did it with Stone Cold and Triple H. It just, yeah.
But Stone Cold was so believable, and, like,
this feud doesn't need it, though. You don't need that silliness with Oba and Brock. It's the combatants speak for itself, and the Hell in a Cell speaks for itself. You didn't have to go that way.
Well, I think there is a little bit of, you have to add a little more layers to it because Brock honestly comes across as weak at times, and having 5 cops out between him and Oba kind of reinforces that. So there's a little funkiness going on, which is fine. It'll probably hash itself out.
I mean, if you wanted to play it right, you could have just had real look at security where Oba comes out and security just, like, comes out and grabs him like, yeah, you can't be here or whatever. But it made kind of Paul look weak, and I understand the Brock thing, but I just didn't like it. So I'm ready to move on from it. I'm still
all
looking
right,
forward to the
let's move on
match,
then.
though.
Let's go to Io Sky and Roxanne Perez.
Kind of ready for this whole shtick to be over, too.
Yeah, the whole, I don't know. We've talked about this before, worms crawling all over each other, right? Like, we get all the same characters. We just, there's a pile of them, and we keep on shaking them out. So there was a lot of good stuff here. credit to Liv Morgan, though. Like, her with the Oblivion is getting really good. Like, it's getting Stunner-esque, right? Like, Stone Cold could always whip out the Stunner at random times. And, like, Liv hitting Oblivion right now is starting to get to that point as well.
Yeah, because she can snap it off quicker. Even, like, when Alexa does that Sister Abigail DDT, it's very hard to just hit it quick. Like, Liv can pretty much hit it, like, very fast, so... I mean, the match is good, and I guess now, probably between now and SummerSlam on the next Raw, you're going to have Saruka and Io fight against Raquel and Roxy, and Liv will get involved again, and maybe this is where you can work an injury angle with Io, continue working on the knee, so now Io can be wooed to go to SummerSlam. It's just, the matches have been good. It's just, man, it feels like it's taken a long time to get there, and normally we complain about fast booking, but... they're making it a little bit...
Yeah, well, they got to take their time to book, right? Like, I'd rather them establish and kind of build out the storyline to give us the so what. So I'm not going to complain about storyline building, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just that one week
talking about soap opera drama.
The Vision.
Yeah. The Vision and Alpha Academy. Oh my God. These are the days of our lives. And then we saw Tozawa get folded up by Braun Breaker like a damn freaking taco. Like, it was ridiculous. But Tozawa also went flying over the announcer table, but... whew.
Yeah, he didn't even touch it. He just landed, like, in the chairs.
No. We'll talk about it when we get to the Gauntlet match. Like, there was some spots on this show. Oh, yeah. FYI, Survivor Series, 28 November, Houston, Texas, Astros Stadium. So, all right. So we get
by the way, man,
rematch.
The fans love themselves some Otis, don't they? Like, I would like to see Otis.
Otis is always over.
Otis needs to get a little bump here. I know. Like, man, let him do something. Give him something good. Maybe now with this
Otis is
stuff,
over
he can get involved
everywhere.
Triple
He's
A
over
huge.
everywhere, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got to get him in the ring.
So after that, we get Jimmy Uso and Royce Keys part 2, and yeah, a more world building. This basically sets up a match that's Triple H. Triple H. Oh my God, no! It's triple threat with Royce Keys, LA Knight, and oh my God, I am man, put me down. LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys versus the Usos, and like LA Knight drops the
6-man tag.
Yes,
trios.
6-man tag.
You call it trios, 6-man tag, whatever you want.
But
it's okay.
LA Knight calling Jay Uso the unfortunate event is like one of the greatest lines I've ever heard.
There was some funny stuff. LA Knight's been killing it, man. That's gonna be a fun 6-man tag.
I told you. It is going to be a fun one. I think it has potential to be fun, but then I also think it could be very anticlimactic as well. So it looks like Paul Heyman has dumped the Vision on Maxine Dupree, which is interesting. But okay, cool. Go with that.
Yeah, because she brought so many titles and success to Alpha Academy. I mean, she did win an IC title.
But now she's got more Mo Betta Butta talent to work with.
She does. Yeah, she doesn't have the B team anymore. She's got a little higher level group.
So after that, we get Oba and Pierce. Oba's just like reinforcing that they're scared and they're concerned. So, yeah, good times.
See, that was fine. Just Oba saying that still hypes up the match. It's going to be big. He wants to hurt Brock. So let's hope we get mucho violence in Hell in a Cell, because that's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it needs to be. It would be the best way for Brock to go out in his hometown. It's the best way to put Oba over. Like, use the cell. Use the cell. Not just have a match in the cell. Use the cell. So.
Hey, so you texted me something about Paul Heyman possibly being with Oba down the line. They should write it. And I really kind of blew it off when I texted back. Like, you can't do that with Oba. But if Heyman is leaving the Vision and Brock is on his way out,
You are on it, big guy. You are
Paulie
on
needs some. So do you make Paul a face? But I just can't see Oba buying it. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have to watch the match at SummerSlam and see how they're going to go forward.
It. I think you work it because now, look, Oba doesn't need help on the mic. That's number one. Number two is, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's something that you have to do. I think it's a possibility of something that you could do because more so it's about the story about Paul Heyman, right? Like he's the slimy going after the next big guy. Brock's retiring. Okay, cool. Brock is retiring. I need the next Brock. I have the next Brock. It's Oba Femi. So that's why I thought
how do you think
maybe,
the fans
just maybe,
would respond with Oba with Paul Heyman, though? How do you think the fans would respond?
I think Paul Heyman could sell ketchup to somebody with white gloves, so it doesn't matter. And he could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah, true. I mean, he did sell me four flat tires and said they're only flat on the bottom. So
exactly. They're round everywhere else. So, okay.
Yeah.
More. I'm not.
Hey, I know who Lyra looks like.
Storyline.
Do you know who Lyra looks like?
Let's see if you come to the same conclusion because I made comment about it. But go ahead.
Bird lady on Home Alone in Central Park, who, by the way, just died in real life last night.
Basically starting all of his shit.
Holy cow. That's an interesting coincidence.
And that's what made it connect to me because I saw a picture of the bird lady from Home Alone that she passed away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's Lyra Valkyria on Raw.
Well, she came out and she kind of looked at like, you know, the chick from The Well or The Ring or whatever that show is. Like she came out looking like that. And then on top of that, you know, I just looked at her and this is where the Baron Corbin tie-in comes in. I was like, are we getting bum-ass Lyra out of all this?
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was lame. We'll see where they go, but so far they kind of laid a fart with this so far, buddy.
Yeah, and Bailey's too talented, but I mean, there was some hurtful shit said, like, you know, you're the weakest of the four horsewomen and all that stuff. So there was some good zingers in there, but it didn't need to, be that. So, all right. Let's get into this gauntlet match of commercials.
I don't think you had to have Lyra's
look
change that much. Yes.
I wonder if they're going back to Lyra and Bailey. I wonder if they're doing a flip. So we had Bailey playing the psycho for a little while. Now I'm wondering if we're going to get Lyra playing the psychopath a little bit.
Sure. Why not? Everybody needs their meds in WWE.
Adderall is hitting a whole new high. Downers, uppers, everything. Everything must go. All right, so
those
Dominic
Skittles,
Mysterio
kids.
and Joe Henry. Skittles parties. If you don't know it, look it up, and then don't do it.
Yeah.
All right, so
it's bad.
Dominic Mysterio and Joe Hendry have this match, or they're the first ones in the shoot for this gauntlet match, which Dom looked okay, Joe Hendry looked okay. I think we need to see a little bit more out of Joe Hendry to kind of connect with him. And then things got crazy because then we get Dominic Mysterio and Javon Evans.
That was fun. A lot of fun. Danhausen bit. I like it when his curse didn't work. He's in his car like, shit. But it ended up working in the end anyway because Dom got distracted. I mean, it was fun.
So he just takes credit for it.
Dominic being that skanky hill, he could do comedy stuff, Dominic, really well. So, I mean, I crack up half the time when Dom's on TV anyway. He's so good at being a dirty, slimy heel. I love it.
He is. And
what'd
this
you think
rivalry
about Dragon
with
Lee and Javon, bro?
Steroids. That part of that gauntlet match was nuts. And, like, they went, you know what, man, we're going to kick it up to like 65 miles per hour, man. Like those two were just flying everywhere. No feet touched the ground, man. Like it was exciting to see. I like at times, especially with Dragon Lee, if you put Dragon Lee in a position where he doesn't have to slow down, like you can let him go fast and he doesn't have to overthink it. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. So I liked it a lot.
I mean, they ended up in the front row. I mean, it's just insane madness.
But yeah, that part of it.
I was just praying, please, not a commercial break during any of this. We've had enough.
All right.
Sorry,
so
I think
Evans,
we have a delay because of the internet, so I'm like, I don't want to make sure I'm over talking you.
Yeah. We're gonna go to the point now where we do it like the reporter in the field, where you'll just sit there and nod, and then
okay, toss it. Yeah, you'll toss it over, and then I'll toss it back to you. There we go.
Roger over. All right. So Javon Evans and Rusev didn't really do anything for me. I like, it didn't move my needle. It was okay. It just, at that point, you knew where it was going because they kind of telegraphed a lot of this stuff. Like, I think it would have been a little more interesting if instead of Chad Gable coming out, Ethan Page came out and had to face Rusev to see how they handled that. So I think that would have been a little more advantageous.
Which I think is why they waited so long for Gable to come out, because we wanted him early. I just didn't want him last, because it would have had like the Cody Royal Rumble effect. Like Chad had to at least work at least 2 opponents to get it through. So I was fine. I actually liked this match with Javon and Rusev, because actually you got to see Evans really work with a power guy, and they've worked before. But try to watch Evans fight out of the Accolade. It was really, really good stuff. So, and I think Rusev is really good at adjusting his style for these high flyers. Rusev's underrated. He don't get enough love, man.
He deserves all the love because there's been a lot of interaction with the luchadors, the quick high fly guys, and he's managed to keep up. He's been doing great stuff. So. And you're right. Like when it came to Evans constantly countering was really good. But man, Chad Gable's on a whole new level, man. Like that ending sequence with him and Ethan Page was just so seamless and awesome.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Just the whole end. Yeah. The ending into the ankle lock, it really smooth, and Ethan Page looked like $1 million too. Like I still haven't had my full look at Ethan Page, but he did really good in his match with Gable. But man, Gable right now is on. He's just tearing it up, and it's a good thing.
So
he Penta's going to be awesome at SummerSlam. By the way, Penta and Gable's going to be phenomenal.
Well, that's going to be next level. You know what's not next level is this face-to-face between Roman and Seth. I mean, it was there for everybody to enjoy. Roman probably got his one up, but he didn't really, I don't know. It's kind of hard because, he's calling Seth a number 2, and it's like, bro, how can you be number 1 if you're not always around? I don't know. It just, they got a lot of good digs in there. They made it interesting, but it just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of this times with both of them, a lot of the promo battles end up being rehashes of the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I agree. I have to say I did. Hey, we missed something. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Solo. You might have been blanking out. I think you might. Did you talk about when Solo at first acknowledged and then he okey-doked? Because there's really not much to talk about with this, ending promo stuff. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't as good as it was the first time. I like that Seth took out Roman. I was happy that Roman got stopped.
I mean, honestly, when it comes to Raw, the best thing of the night was Chad Gable going over in the Gauntlet match. So, yeah, you did bring up a good point though. So, basically Solo coming out to save Royce Keys, and then he's like, oh, I learned about family, and he throws his one in the air, and Jimmy sold it. He sold the shit out of it. And Jacob was kind of like, okay, then. All right, cool. We're getting the band back together. And then Solo just dropping the funny face right before it, spiking Jimmy was just so good.
Went from that to, yeah. So, I mean, but Solo now is definitely a face.
He cracked a smile before he did it. I love it.
Yeah,
I am beginning to notice, and we've seen this in the past, that if you let Solo kind of be a little loose, he's a lot of fun. He's actually a good character. You know what I mean? Instead of playing the hard ass, I like that he's
going to be a fun.
They're letting him be him.
I just hope they play off because he and LA Knight aren't buds, but they're going to work together on this, and they're both kind of similar because they're both very cocky and obnoxious. So to watch those two try to get along, and Royce is just Royce, so Royce is just going to, He's probably going to be the guy that's going to try to keep them from killing each other until they accept each other. But I think you could face Solo, but being that cocky, goofy guy, I think could be money. And it could probably give him the run that he really needs and deserves in WWE.
Yeah, I agree. Solo has piqued my interest right now. And I've been saying that for weeks. He's really carrying the water right now because, like, he's fresh, he's new, and his story makes sense, right? Like, that's really the big thing. So, but Matt, we have a Saturday night's main event coming up. We're in the Garden. Lots of special stuff going on. So we're going to talk about it because we're not going to do our preview because it's SNME, but you know, we want to give you our thoughts and predictions. So, Matt, Lyra, Bayley, let's talk about it.
I don't want either one of them to win. It's got to end up with a no contest or something, DQ or something that way, depending on how it goes. Because I don't want Bayley to beat Lyra because then you're just going to push Lyra to the side. Maybe Lyra sneaks one out over Bayley and cheats and it leads to something. But I guess if you have to go with definitive winner, I'm going to go with Lyra.
I'm going to go against you on this one. I'm going to go Bayley. And I think that we're on the flip side of the coin, right? Like before Bayley was spiraling, now Lyra's spiraling. So I think you're going to get a rehash of this during SummerSlam. So I think this is the big setup for SummerSlam. So I think you have Bayley go over, but just have it be silly season. So I'll just take Bayley for the hell of it.
It's still a pretty fresh story, so I kind of like it. We're not agreeing on everything.
I did it on purpose. What's the worst that's gonna happen? All right, the match of the night for Matt, his favorite wrestlers in a tag team match for the women's tag team championship match. Paige and Brie Bella versus Fatal Influence. Matt, are they taking the belts off the crusty old ones and putting them on the young guns?
I got Fatal Influence winning the belts.
Does it move the needle, though?
It does if you're trying to get, what's her name? JC Jane. If you're trying to push her, which maybe she's about ready for a title shot with Tiffany Stratton. But I would just like to see a change because Paige and Brie, they're really not doing anything for me as the world title holders. I mean, it's kind of cute how they kind of cheat a little bit to retain the titles by using wily veteran moves, but I mean, does it move the needle if Paige and Brie retain?
I guess does it move the needle for SummerSlam? You're a booker, you're going into SummerSlam, you want SummerSlam to be intriguing. Who do you keep the titles on? Or who do you put the titles on? Do you move it over to Fatal Influence? Is that going to move the needle? You know, is that going to sell the seats? Or is it having, Paige and Brie having the belts?
Get another team involved.
Because you got to look at the whole context of the argument.
I mean, do you have Roxy and Roxanne do a run and interfere and you set up a three-way for the, triple threat at SummerSlam? I mean, I don't know. Are they even going to defend the women's tag team belts at SummerSlam? Or is this going to be like their big show?
They should.
I know they should, but will they? You got 2 nights, you should.
It's a 2-night PLE. Listen, it's a 2-night PLE. If every title isn't on that damn PLE, you're doing it wrong. Period. It's 2 freaking nights. It's what? The 3rd and the 4th or whatever the hell it is. It's 2 nights. So you got to I think you got to just use it. So I'm going to take Paige and Brie. More so because I think they'll end up running it back at SummerSlam, and I think superficially going in, that's what you're going to want as a booker.
Agree with that. But I'll play devil's advocate, and I'm going to go with Fatal Influence.
I figured.
All
right, Matt.
Maybe Fatal Influences win, and they lose the title back at SummerSlam. Who knows? They might play, patty cake with the belts for.
So the big one, the King of New York, the ruler of New York, good old Danhausen, up against JD McDonough. What you thinking, man?
If this match is not in New York, I don't know. But being in New York, Danhausen's got to go over. It's going to be funny. It's not going to be a classic. But after what Danhausen did for the Knicks and the hype behind this, I think Danhausen's going over.
I think Danhausen goes over regardless. Period. Like, period. I think Danhausen has to go over. However, there's no way. I get
especially
that
with being no DQ, he could blow up all the pyro he wants at JD and not get disqualified. So No DQ match. Yeah, maybe we'll see the mini Danhausens back.
I hope not. I'd like to see something different. And you're going to have them at SummerSlam.
Actually, we should see the experiment come out Saturday night.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, he's been working on this experiment. That's what I was thinking. And if JD's there, you know Dom's not far behind trying to cause trouble and live. So Danhausen might need some backup unless he brings Kip and the Miz over.
And then the big one, the big one. So you got CM Punk, Cody Rhodes versus Gunther and Sami Zayn, the last real good guy. So who are you taking here?
Well, seeing that Rhodes and Punk are your main event for SummerSlam, and right now they're in this like weird bro kind of, respect rivalry. I think something's going to happen here that kind of does something to add something to that Cody Rhodes CM Punk match. Maybe some dissension between Punk and Rhodes. So I think Gunther and Sami should go over through nefarious means, and it has to be in the effect to create some tension between Rhodes and Punk lead up to SummerSlam. So, you wonder, tease a possible heel turn with one of them, or just, hey, they're just kind of having like a rough time because of Gunther and Sami Zayn. And then after the match, even if Gunther and Sami Zayn win, Gunther should just turn around and belt Sami for whatever reason. I don't think they're ever going to work together. Could be wrong. It would be interesting if all of a sudden it wouldn't make sense for Gunther's character, but Sami Zayn is a glommer, so if he could try to glom on to some of Gunther's stuff. But Gunther's going to be too busy with Nick Aldis, Sami Zayn, who knows. So maybe this is where Gunther and Sami can go over to cause some dissension between Cody and Punk. I don't know. Who do you got?
I'm going to take the faces here, but I think we're going to take the faces here because something's going to happen where they got to restart the match or something where Aldis has to get involved, which will further the story with him, and then it'll also further alienate Sami Zayn. So I think that the faces are going to go over, maybe a false finish or something like that. But yeah, I think the faces are going to go over here. So I'm going to take Cody Punk. I think they're one of those unique ones where they don't really need to have animosity, to make it happen. So that's kind of my take on that.
No, they don't, but it seems like creative always has to find something instead of just two guys. Let the match stand on its own. Kind of like the whole, Oba and Brock did not need 5 fake cops. Like, the match sells itself.
No.
They could have gotten to a brawl and they could have both got arrested, or who knows. It felt like I was watching something Vince wrote when I was watching Oba and Brock.
No, I hear you there, Matt, but hey, it's going to be an interesting time. It's all good times. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Matt. Tell the good folks where to find us.
Sure. You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please like and subscribe. We've had a great week on social media. Thank you all for your likes and comments, and hit the notification button so you'll get notified when we drop stuff. It's been about a day or two because we ended up podcasting later this week, but hey, life happens. So thank you all for watching and sticking it out with us. That's all I got, brother. Back to you.
This newscast shit is ridiculous. No, like Matt said, we appreciate all the.
There's a helicopter flying overhead right now. Massive air traffic. There's a wreck on the 10.
Yeah, for sure. On the 15 where I'm at. But no, again, like Matt said, thank you everybody for liking, subscribing, listening. Give us your feedback. We're, as you can tell, we did it kind of once in this podcast already. Like, we talked about, what one of our, people that commented on us said, because you all have great ideas. So just keep the interactions coming and we'll do the same. But again, thank you. We're hoping to be on schedule this week, so we'll see. But still, obviously, time zone challenges and other things we can't control. But for now, folks, thank you. And we will talk to you after Saturday night's main event in Raw. Have a good one, folks.